plasma, blood. Why blood is important? Because this is the this is the fluid of life. It means the fluid which contains life. Okay, so because of blood, we will able to take the nutritions. We are getting the oxygen from blood. We are getting everything which are important to the organs, hormones. Okay, any information from the brain. Okay, so whatever the requirement of the body is fulfilled through the blood. So that's the reason blood is very, very important. And second thing is that whatever we want, we are receiving through the blood. Whatever we doesn't need, we will excrete from the blood. Okay, these are the two important things which we have to remember. Okay, so whenever think that that's the reason in electro homeopathy, the blood is given much more importance. Why? Because blood is the fluid which contains the material which are important to the body, and the blood is a very important fluid because it excretes whatever unnecessary things needed to the body. Okay, so these are the two important things. That's the reason in the electro homeopathy, our doctor counts is a matty, give importance to the blood. Okay, and the third thing we have to remember that if the body not getting nutritions or anything from the blood, okay, it means that there is any problem in the blood. Okay, we are not getting enough nutritions. Okay, enough uh, nutritions through the blood means there is any problem in the blood. If we are from the blood not able to excrete the unnecessary thing from the blood, means that there is any problem in the blood. So what we can the conclusion is the stability of the blood is the health or lymph in the electrohomeopathy. Okay, the instability, the impurity, or anything which is disturbed in the blood means it is disease. Okay, so in detail we will talk in the lymph and blood chapter in electrohomeopathy. Here uh, we are focused on physiological importance of blood. Okay, so basically whatever blood, why we need blood, I explain. So whenever the person's blood is decreased or he's anemic, means his blood percentage is decreased. So what they will do in the modern medicine, they will transfuse the blood from another one person to another person. So the transfusion is depend upon what type of blood cells he need. So basically in the blood we have three types of blood. One is white blood cells, red blood cells, and platelets. So if a person need all these three blood cells, then whole blood transfusion is done. Okay, if he need only red blood cells, PRBC or transfuse. If he need only WBC or for immune system, then only WBC plasma is uh, transfused during COVID. Okay, I already explained during COVID, plasma transfusion is done. Okay, whatever whoever the patient is suffered from the COVID-19, after he recovered from the COVID-19, his body have antibodies. Okay, antibodies. So basically, when the antibodies is transfusion through the help of plasma to the other person to increase his immunity power. Second thing is, third thing is the specialized cells which are transfused, that is platelets. Okay, during dengue fever or any viral fever, if the platelets are decreased, if they are below 40 or 30,000 or 10,000, mostly, or bleeding, internal bleeding is happening. So what they will do, they will transfuse plats. platelets. Okay, to increase the amount of platelets in the blood. Okay, so these are the different types of blood transfusion, whatever we see in the mostly hospitalized patient. Okay, so basically, what are the characteristic of blood? Blood, we need 4 to 6 liter of blood. Okay, in the normal body, and the color we know that we have two types of blood vessels, that are one is artery and another one is veins. In artery, the color of the blood is very dark, dark red. In the veins, the color of the blood is light, dull red. Okay, what is the pH? pH very very important. We already studied in previous classes. The pH, the pH is 7.35 to 7.45. Viscosity, if the blood is very normal, so it is mild, thick, 7 times thicker than water. Sorry, 3 to 5 times thicker than water. If it is decrease, means there is thinner. If it is more thicker, what will happen? The blood pressure is increase. Okay, so these are the things we talked about. Plasma also explained that. Okay, plasma is liquid part of the blood. Okay, it have different types of things we discussed. ओके, सो हम लोगों ने बहुत सारी चीज़ों को डिस्कस किया था ब्लड में। ब्लड ट्रांसफ्यूजन क्यों ज़रूरी है, ब्लड क्यों ज़रूरी है, इसको इन्वेंट किसने किया? इनको इन्होंने इन्वेंट किया 90s में। ओके, 90s में 1900 के शुरुआत में, कि कौन किसने किसने इन्वेंट किया? कार्ल लैंडिस्ट ने। कार्ल लैंडिस्ट, ये कार्ल अमेरिकन थे, उन्होंने इन्वेंट किया ब्लड को, डिस्कवर किया ब्लड, ब्लड ग्रुप्स को, सॉरी नॉट ब्लड, ब्लड ग्रुप को, कि हमारे पास ओ बी, ए, बी, ए बी नेगेटिव, ओ पॉजिटिव, ओ नेगेटिव, ये सब ब्लड ग्रुप्स होते हैं। तो उसके बारे में उन्होंने इन्वेंट किया। आरएच फैक्टर को भी इन्वेंट किया था 1940s में, चार्ल्स ड्रीव। ठीक है, तो इस तरह ब्लड, हमारा ब्लड इन्वेंशन हुआ। तो अब आइए बात करते हैं ब्लड सेल्स के बारे में। सो बेसिकली वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, ब्लड सेल्स मीन्स blood have their components. What are the components of the blood? Blood means one is liquid part, another is cells. Whatever cells are present in the blood. Okay. So I already told you that it have three types of cells. One is red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So blood cells की कितने types है? Three types है। एक है red blood cells, और एक है दूसरा white blood cells और platelets. Blood cells are produced from stem cells in hematopoietic tissue. After birth, this is primarily the red bone marrow found in the flat and irregular bones such as sternum, hip bone, vertebrae. Lymphocytes mature and divide in lymphatic tissue found in the spleen, lymph nodes, and thymus gland. The thymus contains stem cells that produce T lymphocytes, and the stem cell is other lymphatic tissue also produce lymphocytes. So basically, blood cells कहाँ पे बनते हैं? Where does blood cells produce? So basically, we have kidney. Kidney will release one hormone, that is erythropoietin, okay, which is responsible for the give stimulation to the red bone marrow. So red bone marrow is present in the irregular bones, okay, flat and irregular bone. कहाँ? Sternum, this is the sternum. Vertebrae, hip bone. So these are the bones which produce blood cells. Okay, blood cells. So after that, they will produce, after the stimulation of erythropoietin, red blood cells, sorry, red bone marrow produce blood cells. Okay, so gradually they differentiate and it will enter into the blood. It may be red blood cells, plasma, sorry, WBC or platelets. Initially, they are only one cell. Gradually, whenever the improvement happen, okay, they are divided by, they become specialized cells. Okay, T lymphocytes, B lymphocytes, or red blood cells, white blood cells. Okay, these are the things. So we will talk in detail in coming classes. First, we will talk about here. Yeah, so you can see that in this image. Here we have the stem cells. Okay, one cell in the red blood cell. Sorry, in the red bone marrow. In the red bone marrow, this is the one cell. It will produce different types of cells. One is this, you can see that normoblast, basophil, band cell, eosinophil, lymphoblast, monocytes, thrombocytes. Okay, so here we have mm, normoblast. After that, reticuloblast. This is erythrocytes. Okay, erythrocytes are red blood cells, which become red blood cells. Okay, here we have these are the for immunity purpose, WBC, neutrophil, basophil, eosinophil, all are for WBC here. This is the combined. This is the all WBC. This is the platelet cells. Okay, these are the red blood cells. So these are the different three types of cells which are produced in the bone marrow. Bone marrow have one common cell, that is stem cell. After that, when erythropoietin stimulates this cell, so this cell able to produce all types of cells. Okay, first we will talk about red blood cells. Red blood cells are also called erythrocytes. इनका और एक नाम क्या है? एरिथ्रोसाइट्स. रेड ब्लड सेल्स आर बाइकॉन्केव डिस्क. आप जब इसको देखेंगे जूम करके, देखिए अब इसको ये वाला क्या है? रेड ब्लड सेल है आपका. जब इसको देखेंगे तो एक ऐसा होगा कि कोई खाली जगह है बीच में और चारों तरफ एक थाली किस तरह होती है, उस तरह होता है रेड ब्लड सेल्स, ताकि बीच में कोई आके बैठ जाए, इस तरह नजर आता है. Okay, thus the reason is called biconcave shape disc, which means their center are thinner than the edges. यानी जो उसके अतराफ है राउंड है, their borders are thinner, not their center is thinner and border are thicker. यानी उसका जो गहराई है वो एकदम थिन है और जो चौड़ाई है वो क्या है? एकदम थिक है. यू मे रिकॉल फ्रॉम चैप्टर 3 को हम रेड ब्लड सेल्स के बारे में जब पढ़े थे न्यूक्लिया के, उसमें भी आप जाके एक बार उसको रिवाइज कर सकते. Their nuclei disintegrate as the red blood cell mature and not needed for normal function. So basically, red blood cell doesn't have nucleus. Okay, red blood cell doesn't have nucleus. Red blood cells के अंदर nucleus नहीं है. ये चीज को हमें याद रखना, क्योंकि इसके लिए जरूरी भी नहीं. Okay, in normal RBC count ranges from 4.5 to 6 million. सो नॉर्मल क्या रेंज है इसका? 4.5 टू 6 मिलियन है आरबीसी का. ठीक है, सेल्स पर माइक्रोलीटर ऑफ ब्लड. आरबीसी काउंट्स RBC counts per meter are often toward the high end of this range. Those for women are often toward the low end. Another way to measure the amount of RBC is the hematocrit. So basically, the normal value is 4.5 to 6 million. Okay, from and the test which will do for RBC, that is hematocrit. This test involves drawing blood into a thin glass tube called a capillary tube and centrifuging the tube to force all the cells to one end. The percentage of cells and plasma can be determined. Because of RBC are by far the most abundant of the red cells in normal hematocrit Range is just like that of total blood cell, 38 to 48%. Both RBC count and hematocrit are a part of complete blood count. So you can also by test CBC test, you can also able to understand the test, that is RBC. Red blood cells, you can able to measure how many RBC are present in the body. So basically यहाँ पे बताया जा रहा है कि आरबीसी का नॉर्मल वैल्यू क्या है, कितने रहना चाहिए आरबीसी। तो आप की बॉडी हेल्दी है कहलाएगी आरबीसी होने के लिहाज से। वो कितना है? 4.5 टू 6 मिलियन, 4.5 टू 6 मिलियन पर माइक्रोलीटर। ओके, सो इसके लिए कौन सा टेस्ट किया जाता है? सिर्फ आरबीसी काउंट को देखना चाहे तो हेमाटोक्रिट। अगर हम सीबीसी टेस्ट कराएंगे, कंप्लीट ब्लड काउंट का, तो उसमें ही आरबीसी वैल्यू हमें मालूम हो जाएगा। ओके, so this is the RBC, red blood cells. Function, what is the function? This is very important. Red blood cells contain the protein hemoglobin, which gives them the ability to carry oxygen. Each red blood cell contains approximately 300 billion hemoglobin molecules, each of which can bond to 4 oxygen molecules. In the pulmonary capillaries, RBC pick up oxygen and hemoglobin is formed. In the systemic capillaries, hemoglobin give up much of its oxygen and becomes reduced hemoglobin. The determination of hemoglobin level is a part of CBC. The normal range is 12 to 18 grams. 12 to 18 grams per 100 ml of blood. Essential to the formation of hemoglobin is the mineral iron. There are 4 atoms of iron in each molecule of hemoglobin. It is the iron that actually bonds to the oxygen and also makes RBC red. Hemoglobin also able to bond to carbon dioxide and does transport some carbon dioxide from the tissue to the lungs. But hemoglobin accounts for only about 10% of total carbon dioxide transport. Most is carried in the plasma as bicarbonate ions. So basically functions, what are the functions? It have hemoglobin. Who have hemoglobin? RBC have hemoglobin. Okay. Each red blood cell contains approximately 300 million hemoglobin molecules. Whatever in each RBC you have different types of HB molecules, okay, which can bind with 4 oxygen molecules. Okay, so this is very important. You can see here in this image. Okay, I will see. We will see in the diagram. So basically, this is the RBC. You can able to see. Is the RBC. Okay, we have the RBC hemoglobin. Okay, in the hemoglobin, we have alpha chain, beta chain. In that, we have iron molecules. You can see in that this is the membrane. Here we have the hemoglobin. Okay, तो देख सकते हैं आप लोग, ये आरबीसी है। देखिए, रेड ब्लड सेल्स है। का जो डायमीटर है 7.5 माइक्रोमीटर है। अगर आप देखेंगे तो इसको विड्थ जो है 2.5 माइक्रोमीटर है। ठीक है। अब ये देखेंगे आप, देखिए, ठीक है, ये आपका हेमोग्लोबिन, हेमोग्लोबिन पूरा का पूरा हेमोग्लोबिन है। इस पे आपके ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल यहाँ पे एंटर होते हैं। ठीक है। ठीक है, ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल, और आयरन भी है इसमें। आयरन की वजह से ही ये क्या नजर आता है, रेडिश कलर नजर आता है, हेमोग्लोबिन। ठीक है। ये पूरा का पूरा जो दिख रहा है जाल की तरह, ये क्या है, आपका हेमोग्लोबिन। उसके अंदर आयरन मॉलिक्यूल्स है। आयरन मॉलिक्यूल्स की वजह से ही Hb क्या नजर आता है, आपका रेडिश कलर नजर आता है। ओके। So in the systemic capillaries, hemoglobin give up much of its oxygen and becomes reduced hemoglobin. So basically जब ये आरबीसी लंग्स के पास पहुंचते हैं, लंग्स के कैपिलरीज के पास जब पहुंचते हैं, तो वहां से ऑक्सीजन को अपने ऊपर बिठाकर, कितने, चार ऑक्सीजन को, चार ऑक्सीजन मॉलिक्यूल्स को बिठाकर जहां जहां भी ब्लड में जरूरत है वहां पे ऑक्सीजन देते हुए चले जाते हैं। ठीक है। और उसके बाद ऑक्सीजन एम्प्टी हीमोग्लोबिन बन जाते। So when the RBC reach to the systemic capillaries of the lungs, what will they will able to take the oxygen, and they will able to transport the oxygen to the requirement wherever the oxygen is required to the body. Okay, so what is the normal range of HB? Normal range क्या है? 12 से 18 ग्राम होना चाहिए हर 100 ml ऑफ ब्लड। यानी 100 ml ब्लड अगर देखा जाए, उससे 12 से 18 ग्राम होना चाहिए। सो व्हाट इज द नॉर्मल रेंज? 12 ग्राम टू 18 ग्राम पर 100 ml ऑफ ब्लड। दिस इज द नॉर्मल। सो व्हाट hemoglobin have? Hemoglobin have iron. Iron have four atoms, so that's the reason the iron that actually bonds oxygen also makes RBC red. I already told you that RBC में आयरन रहने की वजह से ही रेड नजर आता है। अगर आयरन की कमी हो जाए तो ब्लड में रेडिशनेस नजर नहीं आएगा, और अगर आयरन की भी कमी आ जाए तो ऑक्सीजन बाइंड भी मुश्किल हो जाएगा। जब आयरन का बॉन्डिंग मुश्किल होगा तो ऑक्सीजन कम बॉडी को पहुंचेगा, जब ऑक्सीजन कम पहुंचेगा तो बॉडी में ब्रेथलेसनेस आ सकती है। तो इसीलिए एनीमिक पेशेंट में क्या होता है, आप देखिए, जिसका Hb कम है या आरबीसी कम है, उसको दम चढ़ता है, सांस आती है। ठीक है। अब दूसरी खासियत हेमोग्लोबिन की, व्हाट इज द सेकंड कैटेगरी, सेकंड हेल्थ, सेकंड importance of or function of hemoglobin, that is also carry carbon dioxide, but not entire carbon dioxide. It will take only 10% of carbon dioxide. Okay. But it will travel by plasma. Okay, travel by plasma and exit through the lungs. Okay, so this is the function of RBC. Okay, next we have production. Okay, we will talk in. Okay, we will talk. Continue the lecture. Okay, so we have, the remaining time is less. So please join again. We will continue the class. Okay, we will talk the functions and as well as lifespan. We will complete. We will complete till here, lifespan, functions, and production and lifespan. Okay, the three topics we will continue and we will finish today. We will talk about blood types tomorrow. Okay, please join all of you again with this link only.